morning, Carbondale. How are y'all doing today? Thank you so much for tuning in to WDBX 91.1 Community Radio for Southern Illinois. Hey, and if you are listening to this, it means you're a fan of the station. So you might be interested to know it is Pledge Drive Week here at WDBX, because WDBX is indeed a nonprofit radio station. We operate largely on donations from listeners and monthly pledge donors. So yeah, most of the DJs here are all volunteers and bringing you just really amazing programming of local musicians and local news, and get to do shows like this, Talk of the Town, where I get to tell you everything going on in Carbondale. So if you are interested in donating, you can send your contribution either in the mail direct to the station. It's WDBX 224 North Washington Street, Carbondale, Illinois 62901. You could bring that donation by in person to that location, or you can go online to www.wdbx.org. And you can set that up to donate on the monthly basis if you're able to do that. Every little bit really helps to keep this amazing station going. I know it really is my favorite station around. I'm not just saying that because I get to talk on it. It's just it's a cool station, and I'm just so grateful that we get to have something like this in our community. So please donate if you can. Lots of stuff going on. I keep saying it, but spring has sprung big time this year. Everything is going on. And this week is the week of the 10th annual Carbondale Brewfest. Really excited about this one. We're going bigger than before. It's a 2-day event now, so there is kickoff activities on Friday, May 2nd at the Town Square Pavilion from 4 to 7. Part of that includes you can bring in your Brewfest card to get a free commemorative 10th anniversary mug. And that Brewfest card, you get that filled up by going to the participating restaurants and bars in town. So all this week, starting today through May 2nd, you can eat or drink at just 3 of these amazing restaurants I'm going to list off for you here: Underground Public House, Boobies, Tres Hombres, Mary Lou's Grill, Rip's Brick Oven Pizza, or Global Gourmet. Get your card stamped. You can pick up your card at any of these participating businesses or at Carbondale Main Street this week. Just get 3 stamps on those cards, bring it to Brewfest, either Friday night for our kickoff activities or on Saturday, and you can get a free commemorative mug. And just really great way to, get some business to our awesome local downtown businesses here. And they've got some really fun, I'm talking good specials going on this week. So check it out. And then, come hang out with us Friday from 4 to 7. We'll have a local DJ going from River to River Community Records. We'll have some yard games going. There won't be beer sold at Friday's night event, but with Carbondale's downtown entertainment district policy, it's open container. So you can get a drink at the bar in a plastic cup, bring it down, chill out with us, have some fun. Then Saturday is the main event on May 3rd. So general admission is from 12 to 5 p.m. But if you get a VIP ticket, you get an hour early entrance at 11 a.m. We're going to have music going all day. Tess Brummer is going to be our VIP musician, playing from 11:15 to 12:15. Whiskey Chicks from 12:30 to 2:30. And Lucas Wayne and the Cottonmouths are going to take us out from 3 to 5 p.m. So tickets, general admission, 30 at the gate, 25 in advance. VIPs, 50 at the gate, 45 in advance. That gets you that early entrance, gets you a larger tasting glass, gets you some extra special VIP samples, and free tamales from La Camilla. So some awesome perks. Gonna be a fantastic time. Lots of local breweries, our home brewers, all that jazz. So please come join us at this year's 10th annual Carbondale Brewfest. Another big thing going on in the community this week, Jack's Mass Transit is hosting some community meetings. They have been working on a comprehensive plan. They've done a lot of surveys, and they are really making some awesome changes. So if you want to come be a part of these conversations, you can join them on Tuesday, April 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Sally Logan Public Library in Murfreesboro. You can join them on Wednesday, April 30th from noon to 2 p.m. at the SIU Student Center lobby, or that evening at the Carbondale Public Library from 4 to 6 p.m. And join in conversation at the Carbondale Towers on Thursday, May 1st from 9 to 10 a.m. Or go online to jacksmasstransit.com and check out these changes they're making, and they have opportunities to give feedback there as well. So, that was a lot to tell you all about. So I'm going to take a breather and let my wonderful guests, Sarah VanVooren and Brian Croft from SIU, tell you all about amazing summer camps through SIU.
Thanks for having us today.
Yes.
Woo!
Thank you so much for coming on. I always love having you two on, always a treat. And it is summer camp season. We are there. It's almost May.
It's there. We're kicking off. In fact, actually this weekend, we have our first sort of mini summer camp. We're doing Friends and Family Camp this weekend, which is sort of the kickoff to our summer camp season. So
awesome.
I know that it's almost summer because I can't breathe out of my nose.
Yes.
Which means the pollen is out, which means that it's almost summertime.
Yep, that is right. And I think it's getting up to about 80-something degrees today, so.
Feels like summer.
Yes.
Yeah. Today feels like summer.
For those people that know me, like I am very attached to my vest, and we are on the end of vest season, which is it's a happy time because it's but it's a sad time too.
Yeah, bittersweet.
Brian's wearing a vest today, and I think we're actually past vest season, but he's still holding on.
Holding strong.
We gotta get you just like some mesh vests.
Yeah, well, I've been told by my wife that I'm not allowed to just wear a vest because that was an option. I said, what if I just, as opposed to ditching the vest, what if I ditch the shirt underneath the vest?
Wow.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
All right.
No.
So don't worry, you won't have just vest wearing Brian at these summer camps.
We'll pivot and talk about camps now.
No, that's a great show.
She's keeping us on track. Thank you. That's what she does. Yeah, so okay, back to the friends and family one. Is this a fairly new camp?
This is brand new. This is our
fantastic.
first one, and actually it was an inspiration from the eclipse. We had such a great weekend where people came and stayed, and we had a bunch of families like, can we just do this without the celestial event?
Yes.
And I said, I think we can pull that off. So so it's our first go around, but hoping that this grows into something really big.
Fantastic. Can people still sign up for this camp?
It is up. You can please keep signing up. It's got food, we'll have activities, and it's such a great time in Southern Illinois to get outside.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't quite hit the hot humidity piece yet, and so perfect time to go camping.
Yeah,
yep.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so that's first up, Out of Touch of Nature. What else do we got going on, y'all?
Yeah, so we have a lot of camps this summer.
A lot.
A lot. So all of our camps are listed on camps.siu.edu. We have camps in the categories of academic, art, music, athletic, and outdoor camps. So I'll go through what kind of that entails in a bit. The age range is kindergarten through entering college. Some of these are half-day camps. Some are overnight, some are full day, a variety of prices, ranges, and options. Everything from our ever popular Lego camps. We have several aviation camp options. We have a lot of STEM and multifaceted camp options, which is great. New camp we have this summer, SIU Recreational Sports and Services is having 2 rec sports kids camps. And those are June 9th through 12th, and that's grades 1 through 5, and then June 23rd through 26th, grades 6 through 8. So participants can join the amenities of the rec center and a dynamic of multifaceted sport camp options. And then the other camp that is its second year is there is a nursing career camp, June 24th through 26th. Again, second year, but I do want to mention that, and all this is on camps.siu.edu.
Yes. Wow, I love what a wide array there is, both in terms of ages and activities, and even like the time span. That there's like half-day camps, there's day camps, because not every kid is ready to go away to camp for a full week.
No, not at all. No, and that's actually something that I think we know about camps. A lot of the younger age camps, at least some of the art camps, are even a couple of hours, right? And the baseball camps, which are also super popular, those are half-day camps too.
Yeah, that's great. Get them introduced, get them, to feel what that's like, get a little independence. And
Yeah,
love
but I
it.
think it's really cool to think about, SIU as a whole in our history with
Mhm.
camps.
Mhm.
So, Touch of Nature, which is part of SIU, we started doing camps in 1952.
Cool.
And I'm not good at math, but that's a long time. Wasn't around back then. But the idea was, understanding sort of this SIU's responsibility to providing community programs. And that's something that I think Sarah and I are really passionate about, is how do we continue to live and coexist and actually help each other, both in higher ed we call it town and gown, right? But how do we continue to kind of promote these things? And I think the other thing that's really special aside from our history is there are other camps, and I always encourage people, go to camp.
Yeah.
Right? So I always joke, I said, my number one job is to convince people that camp is important.
Yeah.
Ideally, you come to one of our camps, but there are also a ton of great camps in the Southern Illinois area. But I think
Fun fact.
Yeah, lay it
Fun
on me.
fact.
Lay it on me.
Fun fact about Brian Croft and I.
Yeah.
We both used to work at the same summer camp.
Nice.
So we both used to work at Camp Ondassant.
Uh-huh.
And now we both are run camps on campus, which I think is a really fun fact that a lot of people know.
Oh, it's you know what, it's interesting. I always tell people, like, two things that if I look at like successful college students,
Uh-huh.
and this might speak to you too. If I could get everyone to go to camp and potentially be a camp counselor and be a theater kid.
Yeah.
If you have those two things in your back pocket, and it
Yes.
seems so weird, but it's
Uh-huh.
like it just sets you up in a very weird way for success.
Oh, yeah.
Point
You
and
can tackle
right here,
anything.
that's you. So you could be
Absolutely.
the next Eva, everyone, if you go to camp and become a theater kid.
That's
Okay?
right.
But I think the bigger thing I think the cool thing to talk about camps on campus specifically is something really cool about our camps is they are hosted by professionals in the field. So you take a baseball camp, that's a baseball coach.
Yeah.
You're in a STEM camp, that's with an SIU professor.
Mhm.
So I think that's something that's really cool. But also, I think outside of that, it's something really good for kids to do while their parents are at work in the summer. Opportunity to meet other kids outside of the town that they may go to school in. So
Absolutely.
they all also spend the day being active, develop lifelong skills, builds confidence. There's a lot of like benefits to just going to camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the first camp my sister went away to, and we went to the private Catholic school in Heron. So our pool of kids we knew was a lot smaller, and she went to a camp like 6th, 7th grade or so at SIU, and she got to stay in the dorms on campus, and she was so excited because she came back and she's like, "You guys, I became friends with a girl with purple hair because we weren't allowed to dye our hair at our private school, and so it changed her whole world perspective. She now had a friend with purple hair that she met at summer camp."
And I think from an SIU, we, obviously we want people to come to SIU, and the way we look at it is not only are we providing this really cool experience, our hope is that we're starting a relationship with SIU. Starting in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade and up. And so I love walking around campus and having people be like, "Oh, well, you were the camp guy," and and I'm like, "Yeah, that's really cool that you know that." And I do think that those connections with this university start that early.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are kids who are students at SIU now who had their first introduction to SIU as a camper.
Yeah.
Like that is actually like fact. Kids, there are students on campus who started at camp.
Yeah, and now I'm sure helping out with those camps.
Yes,
Just that
absolutely.
full circle
Yep.
experience.
Yes, and that's when I start to feel old.
Yeah.
When I have that moment
Yes.
where, because when I first came back, they were like, "Oh, I was a counselor when you were the camp director." It's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And now I'm like, "Oh, I was in mini camp," which for those of you that don't know is like 7 and 8 year olds.
Yeah.
And they were like, "And now I'm in college." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I love it. I love it. Yeah, so it does. It broadens these kids' horizons so greatly. So greatly. Awesome. So we have all these very cool interactive, like educational ones going on campus. Brian, can you tell us some more about Touch of Nature camps?
Yes.
Those deep in the woods.
Yeah, so we've
ones.
got some separate, so we have a kind of a different variety of camps. So one of them, a lot of people are familiar with our Adventure Camp, and that's just sort of our day camp option. So we've been doing that for years. But we also have specialty camps, right? And this is where, Touch of Nature is all about getting people outside. And specifically, we want to look at populations that maybe need help getting outside.
Sure.
And so designing camps specifically for them. So obviously a lot of people are familiar with our Camp Little Giant. So we're doing a Camp Little Giant weekend in July, which we're really excited about. Another camp that I'm super excited about, it's called the Teen Illinois Youth Police Camp. And so it's a partnership between us and a lot of the local law enforcement. And it's actually that particular camp is heavily subsidized by sponsored. Special shout out to Dr. Bouchard and Joe Bouchard, who just gave us a sizable donation. And really it's who needs help getting outside, and it's sort of this connection between local kids and the police officers, and this is our third year going into it, and it's been such a success. And so those kind of camps. So the other thing I always tell people too is if you are in an organization and you say, hey, I want to do a camp, but maybe my population needs something special. So for example, in August we do Camp Beta, which is our partner camp with SIH for kiddos with type 1 diabetes. So we can design a specific camp that maybe fits your needs. And so for them, it's, we have to look at, health, upping our nursing staff, making sure that the menu is appropriate for those type of folks. So that's my favorite, is having people come and be like, I want to go to camp, but like, I can't because of blah. And so for some of that, we can help out with. And I think that's something Sarah and I talked about too, is how can we address some of these barriers, whether they're financial or otherwise. Like, that's our goal, is to really open this up to anyone should have a camp experience if they want to have it.
I agree.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, and with those amazing, like with the police youth camp, it's $25
it really
to
is.
send your kid to camp for the whole week, right?
And they bust it and get donations, and so shout out to all the folks who helped donate and make that camp possible, because it's super cool.
And I do want to mention, there are several camps. So number one, we have relationships with the City of Carbondale, with Carbondale District 95, and so we have a slew of camp scholarships available for campers. But we also have a lot of camps, or several camps, that are grant funded or subsidized by various entities to keep the costs as low as possible, to make sure that as many kids have access to camp as possible. As Brian mentioned, that's something that we're very passionate about, is making sure that kids have access to camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's such a, you learn these lifelong skills at it, and so everyone deserves that time and the education and the fun that comes from these camps, Y'all, we got about 10 minutes left. I'm sitting here talking with Sarah VanVooren and Brian Croft about our summer camps.
So were you a camp kid?
Okay, you know what?
It's
I
okay.
sadly did not do too many camps, but I always did the summer musicals through ASHTIP, through the All Southern High School Theater program.
And I always tell people,
basically like
it is. It's expanding that. It's sort of this specialized thing. And so, like, to me, that is, so you're a camp kid. You can call yourself that. It's okay. We'll give you the badge, and it's fine. But it really, everyone at the university, it's funny, whenever somebody introduces themselves, they'll be like, oh, well, we're the student center, and we're the living room of campus, and we're the, everyone has this metaphor. You say yours all the time. And I always joke, I say, Touch of Nature is the backyard of campus.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of laughs when I say that, but I go, think about when you were a kid, all of the lessons that you learned in the backyard, right? And that's really what camps are. It's sort of this opportunity to learn, co-curricular outside of the classroom. And so it's this weird, like, you're learning, but you're not learning.
Yep.
And you're also not, yes, you're learning about specific activities, but you're also like baseball camp. Yes, you're learning, obviously, hitting, catching, and all the things that go with that, but you're also learning about being on a team. You hear a lot like, I wish someone would teach us how to adult. I had a college student who's graduating in 2 weeks, and I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. I still got to figure out how to adult.
Yeah.
But I joke because I actually think camps are the first lesson. When I sent my son to his first overnight camp experience last year, it was the first time where we packed his bag and we were like, all right, you're gonna have to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be there to say brush your teeth.
Right.
And that seems simple, but it was so cool because now he came back after camp, and he sets his alarm clock now. He comes down and he all dressed, like he picks out his clothes, he brushes his teeth, and it's sort of like those kind of skills start at camp.
That is so awesome. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually my daughter's not first year at camp, at an overnight camp this year. She's she's a gymnast and she's going to a gymnastics camp, but it is an outdoor camp in Tennessee.
How
So
fun.
yeah, we're excited.
Yes, I love it.
How are you handling the whole overnight thing? Does that?
Oh, I'm okay with that. I had 3 kids in 2 years.
Okay. I find half the time convincing people to go to camp, the kids, the campers are easy. Like, I want to go to, like,
Right.
most times you go to a kid, like, do you want to go to camp? They're like, yeah. It's the parents to say, like, but I think, too, I do think bringing it back to SIU camps, that's what there's something comforting to know that these camps are under the auspice of SIU, and we go through a lot.
Yeah. That's actually that actually is a good segue to that is for the parents out there. Something that SIU does, and actually a lot of camp entities across our country do. We arrange a lot for the safety of our campers.
Yeah.
So that's first and foremost. Our camp counselors go through a comprehensive training that is all camp counselors on campus. We also have medical release and photo release forms on every single camper, insurance on every camper, background checks on every counselor. And so that a kid sets foot on SIU's campus, and that kid is taken care of. Everybody who's interacting with that camper has been appropriately trained, and that's something I think about SIU, that we are very comprehensive with our approach to camps, is how we navigate risk management.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can feel very confident sending your kids.
Yeah, and I mean, and a camper is staying overnight in the residence halls. They're staying overnight. There's, in addition to there being housing staff in the facility, there's also camp staff that stays specifically with them too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. I love it. What is the best way to guide our listeners to learning more about these camps beyond the show?
So to register, and this is very comprehensive, everything is on camps.siu.edu.
Love it.
And so if you go to camps.siu.edu, you find the camp you want to register for, it's going to take you to a landing page. That landing page is going to have links to register online, phone numbers to call if you want to register over the phone or have any other camp options. And I do want to also mention we have links to John A. Logan's camps from camps.siu.edu. That is something a lot of people know. We do have an existing relationship with John A. Logan when we plan for camps.
Awesome.
We make sure we're not planning the same things.
Yeah.
They're a part of our Camps on Campus campaign. So that is something really cool for listeners, is that we work with John A. We make sure that what we're putting out there with John A., we're working with them. And because camps are for everyone, like we've already said, and making sure that Camps on Campus, we maximize the variety we have by working with John A.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hooray. Yeah, and if it driving time wise or whatever, if you're able to get to John A. versus SIU.
Absolutely.
Love that, y'all. Fantastic. So what's a favorite camp memory you guys can share with me, either from when you went to camp or in your role now?
You go.
I've actually got one. So I think like Brian and I, like I mentioned, Brian and I both went to Camp Ondasonk. I was a camper there for a number of years. And I remember Camp Ondasonk, when you're there for a week, has you stay in a unit, but one of those nights you go camping elsewhere. You have an overnight, and they have different overnight locations. Some of them are near water holes, some of them are near little lakes. And there is this one particular spot called Upper Packentuck. It's really actually the top of a waterfall. And I was camping there as a camper. I think I was maybe 11 or 12 at the time, during a meteor shower. So we were at the top of a waterfall, felt like you're butted up to the sky. As a 10, 11-year-old kid watching a meteor shower. It was something I will remember to this day. It was super cool.
That's amazing.
It's great. And speaking of sort of the power of camps, right? So there's a bonding that happens at camp that it's weird to say, but it's different than just you know, going and doing a play date here and there, right? You live in a cabin or in a residence hall, like there's something about sort of those relationships that happen. And so we took that a step farther. So one of the programs that Texas and I are probably most excited about is a program called Dog Days. And so Dog Days is, so the number one thing you can do to set up an incoming freshman to be successful is help them develop community.
Yeah.
All of the research basically says if you have an established community, when you either get to college or within about the
That you
first
stay.
6 weeks, the chances of you staying, that you graduating on time, just dramatically increases.
Amazing.
So we started to talk like, well, what's the best way to develop community?
Yeah.
And so everyone, you know, obviously it was like, well, let's do a camp. And so Dog Days is it's a camp for incoming freshmen.
Awesome.
So if you know of anyone that's coming to SIU in the fall, I cannot stress how great Dog Days is, because it's basically move-in day is Wednesday. So the other perk of Dog Days is you get to move in Sunday, so you get to move in early. So you drop off your stuff in your dorms, and then you come live at Touch of Nature for 4 days, 3 nights.
That's fantastic.
And so when you start your college experience, you don't have to be like, I don't know anybody and I have to make friends. You leave Dog Days and you already know at least, I mean, there's over 150 students at Dog Days. But the idea is these people don't have to be your best friends for the next 4 years, but they sort of bridge that gap between when you start and maybe you find that student organization or the fraternity or sorority, or you get into your classes and you develop those things. So that is probably one of my favorite camps that we do, because seeing we've got Dog Days kids that are getting ready to graduate in a couple of days, and we actually have special like ropes that they get to wear that are Dog Days. And so the fact that and they'll say like Dog Days was so instrumental in my college experience, and it just makes me happy.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hey, shout out to commencement though. I do want to say, before we can even touch camps, commencement is May 10th. And so I do, that is something my office also oversees, is commencement on campus. So that's something for all the listeners of the area. May 10th, gonna be a busy weekend on campus with our over 1,800 graduates receiving their diplomas.
Sarah's in charge of that. It's super stressful, and I watch her in awe. I'm like, I'm going back to the woods.
Yes, that is amazing. Hey, well, we hope you all get out to the woods or campus this summer for SIU's summer camps. Sarah and Brian, thank you so much for coming on today.
For having us. This
Thank
was awesome.
you.
Yes,
thank
always.
you.
So look up camps. It's so easy. Camps.siu.edu. You can find everything you need. All right, well, have a great Monday, everybody.